When the woman, dressed in a bright white dress, entered the man's house, the floodwaters had already risen. A few minutes later, the floodwaters receded and the floodwaters receded. The woman hurriedly put on her shoes, saying she had to go back to her night shift. She wasn't the kind of woman you'd imagine. Her name was Jin Jai. She had a respectable job as a nurse, but besides her husband, she had several lovers. Besides the guy from earlier, there was also a male nurse in her department. But she seemed to have a sex addiction. Even that wasn't enough. After get off work, Jin Jai changed into her purple gown and successfully landed on another big fish. The guy with the mustache was exhausted and slept until morning. Jin Jai stood up contentedly and looked out the window at the magnificent view of the Spanish capital. She felt this was where people should live. When she got home, she had just taken off her shoes when her husband, Oi, who had come home early, startled her. He questioned her, asking why she hadn't been on the night shift at the hospital the day before. Jin Jai, without batting an eye, made up an excuse. Her best friend had broken up with her boyfriend, and she was just keeping her company, drinking and chatting. She even went further, blaming Oi for not being considerate. She said she was exhausted from caring for patients at the hospital, and now she had to come home to be suspected. She couldn't live like this anymore. Oi had no choice but to apologize and beg Jin Jai's forgiveness. The next day, Jin Jai went to the hospital, clocked in, and looked up to see Brother Beard. It turned out Brother Beard hadn't forgotten Jin Jai and had specially invited her to a fancy meal. Before the food was served, Brother Beard handed Jin Jai a gift box, urging her to open it quickly, promising a surprise. Jin Jai opened it and found a set of lingerie inside. Even the timing was this good. Then what's the point of eating? Jin Jai took hundreds of selfies in her pajamas, then walked up to Hu Zai-ji. The rest of the story is a bit data-intensive, and I know you're all short on data, so I won't go into it here. After all that fuss, Jin Jai went home late at night and continued lying, saying something had happened at home and she had to cover for someone else. She'd forgotten her phone, and Hu Zai-ji's message was seen by Oi, who angrily yelled, "Who are you covering for? I bet he's covering for you." Jin Jai's face changed drastically, and she immediately changed the subject because of her repeated reactions and crazy attitude. "Okay, let me see the message," she said, locking the bathroom door and making an excuse to go back to work overtime. Feeling increasingly anxious, Oi was about to leave when Jin Jai grabbed his hair and dragged him back. "I can't stay in this house anymore. I'm leaving," she cried. Oh my God, why is she still complaining? Back at the hospital, Jin Jai secretly wiped away her tears. She didn't regret cheating, but rather regretted being caught and blamed herself for being too careless. Thinking of this, she sent a message to her fifth lover, first saying she could no longer bear the constraints of marriage, then that she had suffered unimaginable domestic violence, and then abruptly saying she wanted to kill her husband. The last sentence was crucial. She asked her fifth lover if he would help her kill him. A few days later, a motorcycle pulled into the Magiatan parking garage in downtown Madrid. A young couple on the motorcycle arrived at the third basement level. A pungent, foul odor wafted over, frightening them so much they ran away. The police quickly cordoned off the building. Aunt May from the Special Investigation Team, led by Curly, arrived at the back of a dilapidated Peugeot 206 in the garage. The car was covered in blood, and the body lay on the hood. Preliminary examination revealed two key points from the forensic pathologist. First, the deceased was alive and well. Second, the murder weapon resembled a kitchen knife. Identification documents indicated the deceased's name was Oi, 36 years old. When Aunt May emerged from the crime scene, Oi's clothes were already waiting. Yes, this was Jin Jai. Jin Jai, seemingly possessed by bacteria, cried greedily on the ground. Anyone unaware would surely think she was a good wife. After briefly reviewing the clues, Aunt May returned to the forensic center. This time, the forensic pathologist provided a more detailed assessment. First, the deceased was unlikely to revive. Second, judging from the angle and size of the wounds, the perpetrator was a tall, imposing man. In other words, Jin Jai's suspicion was eliminated. However, the astonishingly experienced Aunt May. When the police encountered Sister Jin again, a quick glance around revealed something amiss. The woman who had just been crying her eyes out over her deceased husband was now glued to her phone. Was her phone that entertaining? Keep in mind, this was 2017. TikTok didn't even exist yet. 3 days later, with cautious suspicion, Sister Jin attended Oi's 7th-day memorial service. She once again displayed her superb acting skills, reciting the eulogy while weeping, eventually clinging to the coffin lid, nearly passing out. However, the police had already uncovered two things. Oi's time of death was at night, and Sister Jin had lied about being at work, not actually going to the hospital. Sister Jin had multiple lovers. This woman, seemingly virtuous, was actually quite promiscuous. So, what were they waiting for? Aunt May drove to Sister Jin's parents' home. From the home's decor and the elderly couple's demeanor, it was clear she was a devout believer. When questioned, Sister Jin readily admitted to cheating, but swore she would only cheat on men, not on Awe. Oi's death had nothing to do with her. The question was there any truth in this woman's words? Women are far more adept at lying than men. So Aunt May applied to the bureau chief for 24-hour surveillance of Sister Jin's communications. What she heard was shocking. Sister Jin was having affairs with different lovers every day, the scale of which was astonishing. After listening to thousands of obscene conversations, Aunt May gave Sister Jin the nickname Sister of 1,000 Desires. Aunt May's subordinates were curious. It's generally said that men can't control their lower bodies, so why was Sister Jin even more promiscuous than men? Aunt May offered a hypothesis: the overly strict family constraints of her parents in Xinjiang and their aversion to discussing sex instilled in Sister Jin a strong. Jin Jai's rebellious nature and morbid desire for men led her to marry Oi in 2016. It wasn't that Jin Jai loved Oi so much, but rather that she wanted to escape her family through marriage. However, after marrying him, Jin Jai discovered that Oi's family wasn't wealthy and his views were very traditional. He wanted to go out drinking and have fun every week, but Oi thought bars were too expensive and it was more economical to drink at home. To supplement the family income, Jin Jai worked as a caregiver at a convent during the day and a part-time nurse at a hospital at night. These two back-to-back jobs made Jin Jai feel even more in need of a way to indulge herself. And you know what? Aunt May was right. At the hospital, Jin Jai not only seduced male nurses, but also bewitched a male doctor, Uncle Bio. When Oi discovered Jin Jai's infidelity, the first person Jin Jai thought of to help him was the infatuated Uncle Bio. Uncle Bio was. He was almost old enough to be Sister Jin's father, but ever since he got a mistress, Uncle Bio started to groom himself, carefully applying hair dye to make himself look younger. The old man was infatuated with Sister Jin and obeyed her every word. Therefore, when Sister Jin clearly stated that she wanted to kill Ah Wei, Uncle Bio began to plan. The two chose the garage as the best location, where there were usually few people and the smell wouldn't be discovered. Uncle Bio was quite proud and even showed off photos to his friends. "Look, my girlfriend has a good figure, right?" His friends advised him to just have fun and not get carried away. You know, Uncle Bio had a family and his son was about to go to college. Unfortunately, his old house was on fire. Uncle Bio didn't listen to their advice. On his son's 18th birthday, Sister Jin sent him an ultimatum. "If you don't do it, I'm breaking up with you." Hearing this, Uncle Bio panicked and immediately. He quickly changed his gear and went to the underground parking garage. Sure enough, Ah Wei came downstairs to drive at the usual time. Uncle Bio, who was lurking in the shadows, launched a sneak attack. After killing the man, Uncle Bio threw away the clothes he was wearing, washed the kitchen knife, and buried the body in the ground. He was panicked, but seeing the sweet words Jin Jai sent, he felt it was all worth it. Afterwards, Uncle Bio went to see Jin Jai. Jin Jai kept her word and rewarded Uncle Bio with 3 minutes of happy time. However, Uncle Bio was like a used-up item. Once it was used up, it was worthless. For a while afterward, Jin Jai became noticeably cold towards Uncle Bio. Trying to touch him was like a pipe dream. Uncle Bio was very disappointed. He didn't know why until one day he accidentally glanced at Jin Jai's emails and learned that Jin Jai was seeing someone else. Uncle Bio angrily called Jin Jai. "I helped you kill someone, and this is how you treat me." I happened to be caught on the phone during this call. The police immediately took action and filmed Sister Jin and Uncle Bio meeting. However, it wasn't the best time to act yet. A few days later, Sister Jin and Brother Beard went to the beach to choose a seaside wedding house, dreaming about their wonderful future life. There was only one small problem. Brother Beard was pretending to be rich. He was short of money to sell the house. Sister Jin thought about selling Ah Wei's house and moving to a different city to change her life. Unexpectedly, because the murder case was still unresolved and the property rights were frozen, plus Ah Wei's family objected, Sister Jin couldn't get a penny. At this time, Sister Jin was worried that the police might suspect her. She called Uncle Bio again and expressed her worries, saying things like, "I still love you." Uncle Bio was very moved and even comforted her. "Sister Jin, even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up. As long as Sister Jin and Brother Beard are happy, that's all that matters." Seeing this, I almost exploded. "Are you a masochist?" The two then talked a lot more, including details of the previous murder, which the police had been eavesdropping on. At this point, Aunt May gave the order to arrest them. They first arrested Uncle Bio, who was having lunch at the hospital, and then took Sister Jin away from the parking lot. Sister Jin thought she was doomed for life. Guess what? Uncle Bio said he took all the blame, saying he was madly infatuated with Sister Jin and out of great love he killed Ah Wei and it had nothing to do with Sister Jin. Sister Jin, on the other hand, wasn't so noble. She insisted she was innocent. It was all the work of the perverted Uncle Bio. Aunt May interrupted Wen Ting with a smile, saying, "Sister Jin, your mouth is as sweet as honey. You can fool men, but you can't fool me." Ultimately, this venomous woman, Sister Jin, was imprisoned for instigating murder. However, it said she found a new lover in prison. As for Uncle Qin Shengbiao, he eventually repented in court, admitting he was bewitched by Sister Jin. You might be thinking, this movie isn't suspenseful at all. The case is solved entirely by wiretapping. And what kind of crazy woman is that? The screenwriter couldn't have made this up. Well, I want to say that this Spanish film, The Widow's Game Asterisk, is based entirely on a true story, 99% authentic. See, art imitates reality, and reality is more magical than fiction. If you enjoyed today's explanation, please like and save it. Your support is the driving force behind my creations. See you in the next video.